Good evening. Please call the meeting to order and begin with the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Buenas tardes, si ocupan traducción, con la señorita Martínez atrás. Gracias. Adoption of the regular agenda. Do we have a motion to adopt the regular agenda? Motion by Dr. Ruiz, second by Ms. San Pablo. Are there any comments or discussions from the board? Roll call, Mrs. Bruno.
Aye.
Ms. Gomez.
Aye.
Ms. San Pablo.
Aye.
Dr. Ruiz. And I. Motion passes. Item 4.1, oral communications. Do we have any general speakers? No. Okay. CSEA? No. NHEA? No.
Which schools are closed?
I believe so. Item 4.2, written communications. Do we have any?
The only item that we have, actually Ms. Marshall will be talking about later, and that's our letter that we received from DCOA on the disclosure of the collective bargaining agreement for CSE.
Thank you. Item 5.1, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 9, 2025. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve. I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Bruno, second by Ms. Gomez. Are there any comments or discussions from the board? Roll call, Mrs. Bruno.
Aye.
Ms. Gomez.
Aye.
Ms. San Pablo.
Aye.
Dr. Ruiz. And I. Motion passes. Adoption of the consent agenda. Are there any requests from the board, staff, or audience to remove an item or transfer it from the consent agenda to the action agenda? Okay. Do we have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Second.
Motion by Dr. Ruiz, second by Ms. Gomez. Roll call, Mrs. Bruno.
Aye.
Ms. Gomez.
Aye.
Ms. San Pablo.
Aye.
Dr. Ruiz. And I. Motion passes. Item 7.1, approval of the 2025-2026 LCAP. Ms. Cosgrove.
Good evening. The board is asked to approve the 2024-2025 Local Control and Accountability Plan, which includes the LCAP annual update, the local indicators report, the actual 25-26 LCAP, the 25-26 budget, and the 25-26 federal addendum. I need to report to the board, and I'm pleased to announce that the county was able to conduct a review of our LCAP and give the results of that review to me earlier last week with corrections. And I'm pleased to announce that the only changes to the plan that the county had as a correction since the public hearing on June 14th, 2024 are specifically revisions to the current difference from baseline for all the metrics. They've asked that we compare the baseline to the current and simple subtraction and update that column. That's the final column on all the metrics. These updates ensure that our plan aligns with all state guidelines and provides the most accurate data for tracking progress. And so approval of this plan is required, and upon approval will be filed with the Ventura County Superintendent of Schools within 5 days of this meeting.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Ruiz, second by Ms. San Pablo. Are there any comments from the audience? Are there any comments or discussions from the board? Go ahead, Dr. Ruiz.
So Helen, this is your last LCAP. So, I read through the whole thing, looking for some mistakes. I couldn't find it. But I did want to ask you a kind of a summative issue. In our LCAP, we have a lot of activities. This is not on,
Yeah, please.
we have a lot of activities, we have a lot of actions, and we have funding for them. And we have comparisons of years ago, even though we don't have this year's data in it yet. So if you were to summarize that, which of our actions are working and which do we need to look at in the future to see what we can do to help shore them up, either provide more money, new actions or strategies, kind of a summative sort of thing. One thing that I noticed, for the first time I actually looked at the science test, and that looked like our lowest performing, it's for 5th and 8th grade, looked like our lowest performing test, 0.81 were above met or exceeded. So anyway, what's your summarization of that? I know it's kind of unfair to ask you, but
No,
you've probably
no.
been working with it for a long time.
Well, first, I think, and I want to respond to the science, because I think that's the most important part of the LCAP is being responsive each year. So in response to data, and the nice thing is, because we don't only do the LCAP at the end of the year, we do the mid. We're responsible and accountable to our LCAP committee that we meet with monthly. So we need to be responsive to data. So for instance, we are moving towards an updated version of Open Ed for 6th, 7th, and 8th. In response to, we cannot just continue to do the same thing because the needle was not moving. So excited to bring professional learning to our teachers to help them be better science teachers. And in saying that, what I want to say is that they're great science teachers, but in order to empower our teachers, we have to put the right tools in their hands.
So that's starting in elementary.
Yes.
5th and 8th.
Correct. And then finally, I'm sorry, I forgot the question. You said what's working, what I think is important. Of course, as an associate superintendent of services, I'm always going to say professional learning. I think our teachers, our administrators, our classified staff, they deserve the best and most current professional learning. And we know that the days of one and done type of professional learning is not effective. We need deep, focused, targeted learning, and we need to listen to our employees, and we need to follow the data and help that guide us. So, and investing in the best professional learning. I think our investing, and I'm going to do this, investing in leadership, our principals, our educational services department, the work they do. It's very focused, very hardworking. So I think that I'm proud of our LCAP. It's the longest LCAP I've ever seen. And I apologize for the length, but I wanted you to know that rest assured I followed every single direction that the state and the county laid out, and that's how many pages it turned out to be. So I wanted to leave you with a very complete LCAP. But I appreciate the board, and I appreciate all the support for the LCAP over the years, and I think we should be very proud.
Don't you anticipate that we're going to see English language arts go up this year with all the new things you put in place this last year?
That's extremely bad luck
And also mathematics, and there's some partnerships in mathematics. So
Yes. I believe that we have put things in place. I've seen the teachers transfer it into the classroom, and I expect the needle to keep moving, yes.
Thank you. Thank you for all the work you put in.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate it. Okay. Okay, we're gonna do the roll call. Ms. Gomez?
Aye.
Ms. San Pablo?
Aye.
Ms. Bruno?
Aye.
Dr. Weiss? And I, motion passes. Item 7.2, Universal Screener of Reading Difficulties, grades K to 2, Ms. Cosgrove.
This is a very exciting process. We talked about it earlier in the year with the board. I am asking the board to approve one of the 4 identified universal screeners of reading difficulties by the state of California, and specifically M-Class with Dibble's 8th edition and M-Class Lectura, which is the Spanish, as the universal screening tools for reading in grades K2. A reminder, we screen all of our students in K8 with Ames Web. For this, we will break away from Ames Web for reading just in K2 and replace it with M-Class, this M-Class 8th edition, and as well as the Spanish. This recommendation involved a pilot of M-Class and another product called Amira. We had input afterwards from the participating HESD teachers. I want to point out, because you'll hear a lot about Amira, it's very different in that it's all AI. Amira is the name of the AI, you want to call it person, robot, and very, very promising. I think it shows great promise. I'm very excited about the future of AI. However, the potential technical issues that we also experienced during the pilot, especially specifically speech recognition errors. And that was an issue with a lot of our English learners. So we have concerns about that. Login delays, and then limited actual data at this time with that product, and that raised concerns. The M-Class, many of our pilot teachers commented that that was easier to use, better aligned with our instructional goals for reading, and there's a more effective, according to the people that comment, monitoring progress and planning interventions. The AI, amazing, but unfortunately what it kind of took out was that direct instruction between the teacher and the student. So looking for some happy in between there. So adopting M-Class ensures the governing board that we will comply with all state regulations and also provide our educators and our students with a very reliable and effective tool.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Dr. Weiss, second by Ms. Gomez. Are there any comments from the audience? Are there any comments from discussion from the board? Okay, roll call. Mrs. Bruno?
Aye.
Ms. Gomez? Ms. San Pablo?
Aye.
Dr. Weiss? And I. Motion passes. Item 7.3, California Community Schools Partnership Program 2024-25 Implementation Plans, Ms. Marcos Velazquez. Welcome.
Thank you. Testing? Oh, yes. So, good evening, governing board members and district. I think I can speak, use my teacher voice, Dave.
Has to record that.
So, good evening, governing board members and district leadership. As I'm Irma Belgosa, I'm the Senior Director of Student Support Services. As you may remember from a few board meetings ago, Dr. Walker shared with you guys that Juanini Elementary School District had received the California Community Schools Partnership Program grant, commonly known as CCSPP, and we are part of the cohort 3, and it was given to us back in May of 2024. And it was to be implemented in this year, but because it was our first year, it was more of a planning year. So we are super excited that we were awarded with a grant for the 4 schools that we applied for. So Haycox and Williams Elementary School, they both have it, as well as the 2 junior highs, Blackstock and Green. So we are very happy about that. And basically, the grant supports schools using a whole child approach. The grant's name says it all, the California Community Schools Partnership Program. So basically, the grant requires us to bring the entire community, including services, supports, and as many partnerships as we can from the community into the school setting so that every student has what they need so they can succeed and thrive. It's about working together with the schools, the families, and the community partners, whether it's an agency that is making a profit or nonprofit organizations. And basically, we want to create a strong and supportive learning environment for all the students, no matter what the program they have. You have received a detailed implementation plan for each school site. And as you notice, the plans are aligned with our LCAPs goals, as well as with the CIPSAs and our MTSS leadership SMART goals that we create. And the 4 grantee schools are required to implement 4 key pillars that is described to us in the California Community Schools framework. And I'll briefly give you a very little information regarding, for example, the first pillar. The first pillar is asking us to have integrated supports for students, which requires providing services that address physical, mental, and emotional health needs. The second pillar relates to family and community engagement. In this, we must include meaningful involvement of families and local partners in the school life and decision making. They want us to have more families coming into the classroom and supporting. The third pillar is specifically relating to collaborative leadership and shared practices. In order for us to apply for this grant, we already had to have our school site councils became advisories to this committee. They had to approve that they wanted us to actually apply, and we had 2 meetings with them so they could understand what it meant to apply. So they're going to continue collaborating with the principal at the school. When they read the data, they look at goals, and they decide how they want to be spending the money. And finally, the last pillar, number 4, is extended learning time and opportunities. It is enrichment programs beyond the school day, including after school and summer learning. And I do want to point out that it must be beyond what we already have in place in ELAP with Ms. Raven Ayla. It has to be totally, there is no supplanting, all new activities that are not currently in place. And part of this framework under the CCSPP, schools must also implement proven practices such as hiring site coordinators, forming advisory councils, and mapping community assets. We already hire our 4 community coordinators, 1 per school site. And we are very excited. They'll be starting their contract on July 1st. So the plans that you received are basically living documents. We're going to continue updating them on a regular basis based on the data. As you guys know, we have a beginning of the year screeners, and then right before we go on winter vacation, they're going to have the next screener for lingo charts, social emotional, etc. And every time the administrators are analyzing the data so they can create their SMART goals. So based on that data for social emotional, academic, attendance, behavior, we are going to be, the administrator with their teams, are going to be deciding what else needs to be done at the school and using those funds. Also, what is going to be impacting the implementation plans is community input. Our coordinators are going to do needs assessments, surveys with the community, and students and staff, And also, of course, as we progress through the year, we have to follow any new guidance from the state. It is similar to the SIPSA process. Now, this item is for information only, and we're going to continue providing you updates as we continue to work and it continues to grow. Are there any questions?
Go ahead, Dr. Lee.
So I assume this is state money,
Yes.
and it was funded in the new budget?
Yes.
That's the two questions I had. I didn't really see that in. And also, is it true that everything in it has to be something we haven't done before?
Yes, no supplanting.
So the CHAMPS program is in here. We've been doing that for years?
Well, we have had it for a long time, and one of the schools wrote down how they want to. It's been a long time that we have had a training. One of the administrators was thinking that possibly to bring back some of the training. So that would be the reason why they added it.
So they're adding two, even though it's the same program, they're kind of adding something to it because of this.
It would be especially new because, as you know, throughout the many years, we have hired so many new staff. It has been many years of the training, so it would be new to them, but review supplanting against to the other ones. But basically, we are going to give it to the new staff, so it wouldn't be supplanting. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Item 7.4, instructional continuity plan. Ms. Crossgrove.
Thank you. The board is asked to approve the updated district's instructional continuity plan, or the ICP. You'll find that these are meant to be integrated into each site's individual safety plan in compliance with Senate Bill 153. This plan ensures that all Wainini students can access instruction during natural disasters or emergencies. Key components of, or required components of the ICP includes protocols for engaging families, how to resume in-person or remote learning, equity and access for our students for instructional materials, and preparedness measures like distribution and pre-distribution of devices, and maintaining robust online platforms. We learned a lot, obviously, from the pandemic and in guiding us in updating and keeping these plans at the top of their game. So this plan's adoption supports the educational continuity and student well-being in case of emergencies.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Who's second?
Me.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the audience? Are there any comments from the board? Dr. Ruiz?
I'm assuming this is the first time we've done this because the bill was passed in '24, right?
Well, what the bill required, this is true, we've always had, we've always been required to have continuity plans, but what the bill stated is it had to be, I'll let Dr. Walker finish my thought.
Back in 2021, all districts were required to have a plan in place for if you were to shut down. The new part is that the new bill makes it so that it has to be integrated into your safe school plan. There were some additional changes, so that's why we updated it to more fit the new requirements, and some of the things that we had in our original plan aren't really relevant anymore.
So every school plan will have this in it?
Correct,
The
yeah.
same students.
It'll be the same plan, so we're able to do one LEA plan, but then each one will go into the school's plan and essentially become the school's instructional continuity plan.
And this is for any natural disaster or any other emergency that we need.
Any reason that we would need to shut down.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call. Ms. Adriano?
Aye.
Ms. Gomez? Ms. San Pablo?
Aye.
Dr. Ruiz?
Aye.
And aye. Motion passes. Item 8.1, adoption of the 2025-26 district budget. Ms. Marshall?
Good evening, governing board members. The proposed adopted budget is unchanged from the last board meeting held on June 9th, and the budget has been passed by the legislature, but has not been signed by Governor Newsom yet. So Governor Newsom has until June 30th to sign the budget. At this time, we recommend that the governing board approve the adopted budget for 25-26. Thank you.
Do we have a motion to adopt?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Gomez, second by Ms. San Pablo. Are there any comments from the audience? Are there any comments or discussion from the board? Dr. Weiss?
Very well done.
Oh, thank you so much.
Roll call. Mrs. Bruno?
Aye.
Ms. Gomez?
Aye.
Ms. San Pablo?
Aye.
Dr. Weiss?
Aye.
And aye. Motion passes. Item 8.2, disclosure of proposed collective bargaining agreement with CSA. Ms. Marshall?
So good evening again. So this item is for information only. No action is required. So Waimini Elementary School District and California School Employees Association have reached an agreement on the increase to the 2024-25 salary schedule. We have settled on a 1% increase to the 24-25 salary schedule that will be retroactive to July 1st, 2024. In addition, a one-time off-the-schedule bonus of 2% of the 24-25 salary schedule, or $800, whichever is higher, will be paid to the employees. The state has accountability legislation under AB 1200 that requires a school district that negotiates an agreement with their bargaining units to not only disclose that information to the public, but prepare a financial impact statement of that agreement and forward it to the County Office of Education for review. So for your information, I've included the approved financial impact statement of the tentative agreement and the county's letter of review in the board packet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 9.1, approval of request for certified variable term waiver. Mr. Castellano.
Good evening. Tonight I bring forth to you a variable term waiver that we're requesting. If you recall, we have Erin Murphy, one of our employees. She's a program specialist, and last year you approved a variable term waiver to have her work in this capacity for us as an administrator as she's working on getting her credential. So I'm pleased to report that she's done an excellent job this year learning her new role, supporting the PSS department, and at the same time taking classes, and she's halfway done with her program. So at this time we're requesting to approve the request for the certificated variable term waiver for Erin Murphy. We anticipate her to be finished in December, and at that time we can apply for her preliminary administration credential.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve. Second.
Motion by Mrs. Bruno, second by Ms. San Pablo. Are there any comments from the audience? Are there any comments or discussion from the board? Roll call. Mrs. Bruno?
Aye.
Ms. Gomez?
Aye.
Ms. San Pablo?
Aye.
Dr. Weiss? And aye. Motion passes. Item 9.2, approval of tentative agreements between the district and CSEA. Mr. Castellano.
Tonight, I am pleased to present to you the tentative agreements that we were able to establish with our CSEA partners. We finished negotiations here at the end of May, beginning of June. So we're very pleased that we were able to come to some agreements on some items in the contract. So at this time, pending ratification by unit members of California School Employees Association and its Wainimi Chapter 273, it's recommended that the governing board approve the tentative agreements between the Wainimi Elementary School District and the California School Employees Association and its Chapter 273.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Dr. Weiss, second by Ms. Gomez. Are there any comments from the audience? Are there any comments or discussion from the board? Roll call. Mrs. Bruno?
Aye.
Ms. Gomez?
Aye.
Ms. San Pablo?
Aye.
Dr. Weiss? and aye, motion passes. Item 9.3, proposed approval of administrative and confidential certificate and classified employees' salary schedules for the 2024-25 school year, and the speech and language pathologist salary schedule for the 2025-26 school year. Mr. Castellano.
So as Ms. Marshall shared, as part of the agreement with both associations, we did come to an agreement to have the 1% retro to July 1, 2024. So before you, we have prepared all of the salary schedules for our administrative and confidential employees, our certificated employees, and our classified employees with their updated salary schedule for 24-25. Part of the agreement with HEA was to establish a new salary schedule for our speech and language pathologists beginning July 1 of 2025. So that's before you also in this packet. So it is recommended that the governing board approve these salary schedules for those employees at this time.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Gomez, second by Dr. Ruiz. Are there any comments from the audience? Are there any comments or discussion from the board? Dr. Ruiz.
I just want to say I'm very proud that our starting salary for a brand new teacher is $73,326, and our highest salary after 35 years is $137,000. I think that's very close to what teachers deserve. I think that they probably deserve even more, but I'm very proud of it. This is our salary schedule. So thank you for putting it together.
Thank you. That's a good one. Roll call. Mrs. Bruno?
Aye.
Ms. Gomez?
Aye.
Ms. San Pablo?
Aye.
Dr. Ruiz?
Aye.
And aye. Motion passes. Item 10.1, trustee reports. Mrs. Bruno?
Well, I attended graduation at Yale Green, and it was a really nice ceremony. The kids performed well. The parents were nice and calm. They didn't go overboard. The ceremony was only like an hour and 15 minutes. I think that's really courteous to the parents who are standing out in the sun, as I got burnt last week at Buena. So it was very nice. Also, for my fellow board members, I'm going to start collecting for the basket for Shine. So that's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Gomez?
I attended Shine Fest earlier this month. It was very fun. I got to chat with Zaifa and a lot of the schools. It's so fun when you see cousins in different campuses and they meet up and they're like, oh, no, our school's doing this, and they were having a really good time. So that was really good. All the performances, a lot of activities. It was a great Saturday. And then I also attended promotion at Green this year. It was very fun. I appreciated how we made it in my side of the campus. I appreciated how we moved quickly, and the ceremony was very fast. It was less than 2 hours for sure. My niece was going, that was actually special. And I hope you all have a very safe summer. Thank you very much for everything you do for us this year. Thank you, Helen, for everything you've done for us all these years. I was thinking earlier today about what Dr. Jennifer told us, how you were his candidate for this position, and I just thought, yes, that's the most natural decision. She's the best person for this job. And I always say that, always stand by that. You've been amazing in all your capacities. Thank you.
Yes.
Can I back up? I forgot, I went to the dual language immersion program, which was exceptional. When we heard that it was going to be the kids that were going to be the MCs, I think a couple of us kind of go, oh no. Those kids were amazing. They stole the show. They were just adorable, and all the kids were cute. So it was a wonderful program. And that was our first, so I hope we continue to do a nice ceremony for the dual language immersion children.
Thank you. Ms. San Pablo?
So I attended promotion at Blackstock. Great job to everybody putting that together. It was a really good event. The student speaker was very inspirational, and it's so special because I went to Blackstock, so every time I'm there, it kind of takes me back into that exciting feeling of the next step of going to high school. So that was really nice. I enjoyed it, and that's it.
Dr. Weiss?
I enjoyed the Black Sock promotion as well, and I really enjoyed the principal's speech in both English and Spanish.
Yeah.
Great job. The students that sang the anthem did a great job. And except for one student, they were all very respectful on the stage. So it was a good graduation. I'm glad he didn't hurt himself. And I thought that my two colleagues, Suhan and Daisy, did a great job of giving out the diplomas. So overall, it was a terrific graduation.
Thank you. And I also attend the promotion at the Blackstock, which, again, as my colleague says, it was wonderful. It was so emotional to see the parents there and the students, and don't be afraid to be there and celebrate the day as, as we know how things are going in our state. So I was glad to see that. I was glad to see the principal doing, I was like, what is the translation? Why we don't have Spanish? And there you go. The principal goes and say, I'm going to do it in Spanish too because I'm learning. So I appreciate you. That is very important, and it sends a great message to the community that you care and you're trying. So thank you for doing that. I also went to the dual
Immersion.
exactly emerging program, which Marisol and Cynthia, you guys. It was amazing, the way that everything was in place. It looked like a quinceañera. The mariachis, I was like, where did they get these new outfits? And they told us that, Dr. Walker, you were able to provide this new budget with the girls are having these beautiful dresses as a mariachi. I mean, it was, and you can see and you can feel that the kids were so proud instead of the black pants with the white shirt and the yellow bow tie. And the boys too, and the new instruments. That was a celebration. Dr. Morales spoke very well and a great message to the families and giving support and understanding where we are right now and not to be afraid and to be here present. And that was a great message for, to send to the families. And also, I did attend a Zoom meeting to the Ventura trustees regarding, the issue of the state and the ICE and how we as a trustees can collaborate and have a plan to support. And Dr. Weiss was also in the meeting, and it was great because we have great conversations about how we can go and work together, what every trustee in different schools are doing and what are we doing, and to share what are we doing, and we will have a follow-up meeting. And it was great to see that we are, not just because we are not outside or spoken out, but we are really trying to support the families, support the schools, and trying to find a solution for how can we make these families assured that we as a board also are trying to protect and help and support in any way we can. So that was very wonderful that, who was the one who set it up? That lead?
Who put it together?
Yeah.
It was a member from Ventura Unified.
Yeah. I don't remember, but I mean, he put it together and then we got it, and it was so beautiful. You want to? Yeah. You want to say something?
Just one other thing. I mentioned to the group that you had sent out a notification to all of our staff about how to treat ICE agents if they come on campus. And I didn't know if all the district superintendents did that or not, but I mentioned we had that if anybody was interested. So if you did any calls on that, that's what it was about. I think you sent out at least 2 things on it.
Yeah, and the parent square and the...
Yeah. So if you get it, you get an ask for that. In fact, they asked me to send it to them, and I couldn't find it. So who called the meeting? It was 2 board members. One from Oxnard Elementary.
Yeah.
No, one from Oxnard High.
And one from Ventura. Right.
Who was the organization?
It wasn't, it was school boards.
It was the trustees.
School boards.
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
It was an email sent out
Yeah.
that they were inviting trustees to go to the first meeting just to start talking about. And just to see, but this is not the first, this is only the first meeting, and how we can go and try to support and help out. So I would say that is more to come, and I know that one of the things when Dr. Weiss mentioned about the notification that you send, because not all the superintendents did that, and some of them were, what's the policy and what is the protocol, and we were talking about Wanimi School District, of course, how, things were in place, and that's why they asked that they would love to hear what you did and how the district handled it, and what was, because I also say that it was in the parent square, which a lot of parents really love it, because it's easy to read and easy to just get in touch with any communication. So that's why they asked if we can share that.
Also, the staffer for Steve Bennett was there. He's a board member in Ojai. Remember his name?
I know who you're talking, I can't think of his name either, but I know who.
It's kind of unusual, like I say.
Yeah, it's a staffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he gave us some information that I don't think most people know. I still haven't heard it on the news. And that is that many of the quote-unquote ICE agents that are not in uniform and wearing masks are actually bounty hunters. They get paid $1,000 per arrest and $3,000 if it's a high target. And that's why you see them not in uniform, because they're not ICE staff. They're bounty hunters. And I've never heard that anywhere else, but he reported that that's what they reported in Sacramento. That that's why they have some of these people that don't look like they know the law. And I mean, you saw a person arrested, the comptroller in New York was arrested. Totally illegal arrest. And those people did not have uniforms on. One of them had a mask, one of them didn't.
Right.
So it's weird what's going on right now.
Yeah.
It's just, and he was just repeating, where is your judge's order? The same thing you asked our people to ask for. And they said, we have it right here. And he said, let me see it. They didn't give it to him. He's actually a candidate for mayor of New York City. He's not going to win, but he's a candidate. And so it's interesting that all the things that you recommended is what he was trying to do. And they still grabbed him and cuffed him. And all he was doing was holding the person's arm that he had just represented in a courtroom. And following the law completely. And these people just treated him like. So the meeting was about those kind of incidents and what we can do to protect our families and our children, and how we need to stand together and make them implement the law.
Yeah. It was a good one. All right. Item 10.2, superintendent report.
Well, on that same note, I want to thank Ms. Guillen, because she has been really helpful in terms of getting resources and sharing those with me to help share with our families. So thank you, Marisol, for all of that. As she'll find a better version of something, and so it's been helpful, kind of bringing people together and trying to get a variety of resources. Also, speaking of Marisol, I was so disappointed I wasn't able to attend the dual language celebration, but I did want to thank Cynthia and Marisol for all of their hard work on that, as well as the principals and the teachers that were involved in that. It was something I had been wanting to do. I think Ms. Gannon and I talked about it a year ago, and so it was exciting to see it come to fruition, and I was just so disappointed. I was trying to take a page out of Kara's playbook, and I had been practicing really hard to give my remarks in English and Spanish. I'm not near as competent as Mrs. Comstock, but so I was really bummed. In fact, Helen and Dave had offered to read them before me, and I said it was very personal because it's something that I don't feel like I've been very successful in, so it wouldn't quite come off the same having somebody read it for me. But it was nice to hold a very positive event in a week or weeks that have been very challenging. And on that note, I want to thank our whole admin team, just because they really worked hard over the last couple weeks to try and do things to make our families feel safe on their campuses and still be able to celebrate all of these culminating activities that are happening, and did what they could to hopefully make our community feel more comfortable. So Tuesday was our last official day of school, and then today was our first day of summer school. So not much of a break in between there. We're holding summer school at Hathaway and Williams. We have 3 different programs going on: our Shine program, our extended school year program, and our migrant summer school program. So holding taking place at those two campuses. So we didn't hold it at Haycox this year because Haycox has been heavily used for the last few summers, and we really need to do some work this summer at Haycox. So Haycox is getting painted, we're putting in a new kinder playground, so we have to kind of, take turns with the school so we can do some of that deferred maintenance that needs to be done over the summer. And then lastly, I too just want to say congratulations to Ms. Cosgrove on your last board meeting, and so it's been a true pleasure working with you for me, it's been 22 years, so congratulations.
We're gonna miss you. All right, item 10.3, suggested future items. Any? No? All right. We will now go in closed session at 6:45 to discuss an employee matter. Thank you so much to everyone. Have a safe summer, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Yes. Cynthia, Helen,